we'd like to extend a big welcome to everyone who's come up from the Hands Off People of Iran meeting, which we've brought up here and we're all having together. We're very pleased to have you. We've got a very esteemed guest, Moshe Machover, who's an Israeli socialist and a founding member of the socialist organisation in Israel, the Machover. He's going to speak for us for about half an hour, and then we'll have about half an hour discussion after that. I'll bring in Nick. First, just for a minute or two, just to let everyone know what the Hands Off People of Iran is.
Hi everyone, it's Nick here. Just to quickly say that we're a society on campus called Hands Off People of Iran. You should come and talk to either me or John later on if you're interested in joining our society. I'll also be passing around one of these lovely clipboards so I can take names of people who are interested. But basically, we had a meeting that was scheduled today, the title of which was Gaza, What's Going On? And basically, we're going to be talking about kind of obviously what are the reasons behind this latest act of aggression, what the implications we can draw from that, and how does it kind of relate to what's going on in the region more generally. Obviously, HOPE as an organisation believes strongly in opposition to Israeli expansionism and aggression, and Moshe is a member of the steering committee of the organisation, so hopefully he'll be able to give you a bit of a flavour of some of the politics that we argue for and that we believe in, and we can sort of continue that in the later discussion that we're going to have. So without further ado, I'll introduce Moshe Machover to speak.
Thank you very much. What I would like to give you is the historical context of what is going at present, and the regional context, so the context in time and space of recent events. Well, I mean, if you just take the near past, Israel has in fact been preparing meticulously for this onslaught for many months, at least 6 months, but probably more, to judge by publications, you know, what you can read in the Israeli press. Israeli politicians and generals don't hesitate to admit that you know, this was very meticulously prepared, both from the military point of view and as well as from the political and propaganda point of view. So that in the period leading to the 0 hour, you know, the deadline that they decided to launch this onslaught, they actually mounted a series of provocations which they knew would result in Hamas making some move that they could use as a pretext in front of a pretext both for internal Israeli public opinion and Western public opinion to justify this onslaught, which in any case was prepared long in advance. This was the latest episode in a struggle that has been going on for well nigh a century. And I'm going to explain to you what the conflict is all about, not in my own words, but in the words of a leading Zionist. I'm going to quote from an article published in 1923 by a person called Vladimir Jabotinsky. Now, if you know very little about the history of Zionism and history of Palestine, you may not recognize this name. But he is a very key figure because he is the spiritual and political ancestor of 5 Israeli prime ministers. Let me list them. The names of those should be familiar: Menachem Begin, Yitzhak Shamir, Benjamin Netanyahu, Ariel Sharon, and the present incumbent Ehud Olmert. And whether Tzipi Livni is going to be the next prime minister or Benjamin Netanyahu, both of them are actually political and ideological descendants of Vladimir Jabotinsky. And this is what this guy Jabotinsky wrote in 1923. Compromise between the Palestinian Arabs and us is out of the question at present, and in the foreseeable future. Every reader has some general idea of the history of the colonization of other countries. I suggest that he recall all known instances, let him go through the entire list and try to find a single instance of a country colonized with the consent of the natives. There is no such instance. The natives, whether they are civilized or uncivilized, have always put up a stubborn fight against the colonizers. Whatever we tell them, they can see through us as well as we can see through them, and they have for Palestine the same instinctive love and intrinsic fervor that the Aztecs had for their Mexico or the Sioux for their prairie. Every people will struggle against colonizers as long as there is a spark of hope of ridding itself of the danger of colonization. This too is what the Palestinian Arabs are doing and will go on doing as long as there is spark of hope. And the conclusion of this article is that you have to fight, and you have to erect an iron wall, a military iron wall, so that the indigenous people of Palestine will lose any hope of resistance, and only then, when they are completely defeated, then Zionist colonization has actually won the ultimate victory. Our colonization must either be terminated or proceed in defiance of the will of the native population. We have to impose it on them. This colonization can therefore continue and develop under the protection of a force independent of the local population. An iron wall which the native population cannot break through. And this is in fact what has been going on. I mean, you can see from the wording used that Jabotinsky in 1923 did not hesitate to define Zionism as a colonizing project. He speaks about it quite openly. He compares it to other projects of colonization. Zionism is a project of colonization, and Israel, which is a product of this process, as well at the same time as an instrument for its further extension and expansion, is a colonial settler state. This is how we should define it scientifically. I'm not saying it as an invective or a moral value judgment. It is a purely scientific definition of what the whole of Zionism was about and what the Israeli state is today. Of course, Israel is not alone in being a settler state. There are many, I mean, including the United States of America and Australia and New Zealand, lots of other states around the world have resulted, from colonization. The Zionist case is unique in some respects. It is unique in being the last active one. All other settler states, including the last but one, which was apartheid South Africa, have actually reached their terminus. They have, to use American terms, they have either fizzled out or reached their manifest destiny. They used to talk in the United States in the 19th century about the manifest destiny of the American settlers to reach, from sea to shining sea. That's to cover the whole of this territory. I mean, they are not active settler states anymore. Israeli strategy has been to pulverize the resistance of the indigenous Palestinian people. And the way to do it, I mean, the long-term and the strategic aim is ethnic cleansing. And that was, again, it was quite explicitly written in the early documents of Zionism. But in order to dominate this indigenous people in the medium term and to smash and prevent their inevitable opposition to colonization, their leadership has to be broken.